What's going on, guys? Let's talk about today's markets. All right, because what we had overall earlier in New York session, we did have US PPI data, which did come out a bit lower than expected. Nothing surprising, right? But the idea is just to pay attention to when it comes to inflation. We want to see inflation actually lowering or staying steady, because inflation, the Feds already know that they're winning the battle when it comes to inflation data, but they're focusing more on consumer data. They're focusing on labor data. That's what's the real focus. But as of today, you can just see right here, nothing with the numbers are exciting, but we can see that the data is decelerating, right? We see those numbers is pushing a little lower, but the idea is markets is already expecting, before this print, they was expecting a pause. When we're looking at data now, does it show that the Feds should pause interest rates, or does it show they should cut? That's the actual story. Okay. That's what we pay attention to. So this is what I want to help you guys out, because this is what I do live, right? While we're trading the event live, we get an idea on how to capitalize on these news events. And this is what gives us an edge. Now looking at consumer confidence, this was the actual giveaway. Like, coming out of 88 was just a mess. We've been seeing a deceleration in consumer confidence for a very long time. So this is one of the reasons where we was anticipating more of a dovish reaction. So now, as you guys can see, when it comes to the dollar, right here in the bottom right, you can just see that break of support pushing lower. And this is what led to us taking advantage of USD JPY sells. Some members took advantage of GU buys, Euro USD buys, right? Because the data supports rate cuts, right? So when we get those expectations, weaker dollar, weaker yields, that's what we take advantage of. Dollar was like the easiest opportunity for this event. But when it came to gold, no real direction, but gold was trending at this support, right? Just to give you guys an idea, we was trending right here. Gold was already pushing lower, but the problem is what we have today, just so you guys could see these headlines, right? Right. So the problem that we had today was right here, that Ukraine agrees to, pretty much a peace deal. Ukraine is agreeing to pretty much end the war. This ain't the first time that we heard Ukraine say this. I personally don't think the markets would really care. But when we see de-escalations of wars, right, that does help gold push lower. So we have that is what's causing gold to push lower early in the session. But then the weaker dollar, weaker yields is what also caused gold to rise. So I'm expecting that's why gold is consolidating. We have these two things going against each other. Okay. So now let's talk about equities, because we got the dovish reaction that gives us weaker dollar that also supports equity upside. But this is right here. We have Nvidia sells chips to China, which is optimistic, but we got major headlines when it comes to Nvidia, right? Because it's an actual battle between Nvidia. Let me see if the members posted it. Yeah, so we can see that it's a battle between Nvidia and Google, right? So that competition, Nvidia doesn't like competition. NASDAQ don't like competition when it comes to AI. So that caused Nvidia to push lower, right? We have other reasons also what's hurting Nvidia as well, right? So when we got those reasons, that's what's pushing NASDAQ lower, but the data supported a dovish reaction. And that's one of the reasons why we actually saw this. You could just see how NASDAQ pushed higher. You could also see US 30 pushing higher too, right? We broke resistance, breaking out due to the dovish outlook. And then we saw that NASDAQ recovered from them lows and pushed higher for the session. And also the VIX, right? We got to focus on the VIX. And the fact that the VIX is below 20, I think that's a good idea for the buys as well, which is what I was telling the private group all day for the past week. Focus on the VIX. When it's above 21, 22, that's in uncertainty territory. But when the VIX is like below 20, that gives us reasons to start looking for upside in the stock market. So hopefully that is extremely helpful. Hopefully you guys took advantage of some good trades too, focusing on these economic events right now moving forward. Right, guys, just keep you guys up to date, because this is Thanksgiving week. But tomorrow we're going to have PCE, right? So this is going to be the main focus, and GDP data, which I am going to be trading live as well. If you guys want to join me in my private group, go join the link in the bio. Have a good one, guys.